What did the Battle of Gettysburg look like to all those men and young men who fought that war? All those 50,000 guys who died on that spot. He says they're fighting the same fight you're fighting right now. He said, you killed my brother with malice in my heart. They had malice towards someone who's supposed to be their brother. Another American who's supposed to be my brother, and they had malice in their heart because of the basically over that, Civil War was fought over slavery. It was fought over this idea that some people are less than others. And he said, if we don't come together on this hallowed ground, we will perish. He's like, guys, we have to come together. We have to take racism and we have to put it over there. We have to see it for the evil thing it is. It is dividing us. And if we don't, we won't make it. He knew he needed a team, a group of people with strong relationships, or they would perish. And the good news is it works. They start getting along, they all become friends, they come home from camp, and they're like, that's my new buddy, it's my brother. And it seems great until the first day of school. And everybody in the town, their classmates, even their families, still think they should be separate. Still thinks they should hate each other. And so the two team captains, there's kind of the leader of the white kids and the leader of the black kids. So Jerry Bertier is the leader of the white kids, and Julius Campbell is the leader of the black kids. And they have kind of a thing going, and they become friends too. They decide they're going to be leaders. So you see them at school, the white kids trying to pick on the black kids, and there's this tension at school, and they're like the hall monitors in some ways. Everywhere they go, if they see trouble, they get in there and break it up. They're like, nope, we're not going to do this. And when they go to a restaurant and the restaurant won't serve the black teammates and the white teammates like, nope, we're out. Come on, guys, we are not going to stay here and put up with this. And they make a stand against racism in their community, even in their families. They try inviting each other over to like family dinners. And the families kind of like, people in the neighborhood are like, what is that kid doing in our neighborhood? But they get their families to like welcome them with open arms. And they are they have to like Jerry Bertier, his best friend is a captain on the team too, and he still wants to be racist. And Bertier has to give up the guy who's been his best friend for years and say, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to be racist. We're not going to let this divide us. If you can't get with the program, then there's the door. And the guy who had been his best friend for years quits the team and starts hating him for it. Because Bertier understands that in order for relationships to be strong, in order for a team to be strong, you cannot have anything dividing you. You cannot let something come in and drive a wedge in between you. And I think this principle applies to all relationships. You cannot let something come in and drive a wedge into relationships. And we have an enemy. Okay, like we've got God who loves us and wants us to have strong relationships, and then you've got this enemy, and he's a jerk. And his whole purpose is to lie and to steal and to cheat. It says, the thief, he comes to steal and kill and destroy, but I have come so that you can have life and have it to the full. Jesus wants us to have a full, rich life. The enemy wants us to have a mess. Because here's the backstory to that. So God made angels first, and he had like his three top guys, just like Jesus had his three top guys, his three top angels, and one of them was Lucifer. And Lucifer is like, hey God, I think we should like take over. Like I think we should lord this over people. And God's like, no, that's not how we're gonna do it. And so then he got mad. And so then Lucifer would come into the throne room where God is, and he would accuse. Oh, did you see what Paula did? Did you see? He's like a tattletale. Did you see what she did? Oh, she told a lie. Oh, did you see what Mary did? Did you see what Mary didn't keep the Sabbath. Did you see it? And he would stand there and try to accuse, and God's like, I am tired of this. Shut your face. And so finally God kicked him out. And Lucifer tried to lead this whole rebellion over in heaven, and God's like, nope. And so God kicked out Lucifer and a third of his angels he tried to have a coup in heaven. And he's like, you guys can go down to earth. Get out of here. And so now they're all down here and they're mad because they don't get to be in heaven. They didn't get their way. And they're like, we can't directly get it at God, so we're gonna get down here. We're gonna make a mess of his creation. And so they're down here just trying to cause trouble. They remind me of my 7th graders. They're just down here trying to cause trouble. Those of you who have ever been around middle school kids, there are some kids who just want to cause trouble. It's like that's their primary goal in life. And that's what these evil angels are. They're here to steal and kill and destroy, and that includes relationships. Because they know that when you're divided, you can be devoured. And it says he's like a lion. It says, keep awake. This is Paul writing this, or Peter writing this. He says, keep awake. Watch out at all times because the devil is working against you. He's walking around like a hungry lion with his mouth wide open, and he's looking for someone to eat. He is walking around like waiting for any little disagreement, any little thing he can capitalize on so he can get you away from your people, away from God. Because if he can get you away, think about predator and prey. Prey always hang out together because they know that if I'm with my people, I have hope. I am protected. But predators, they try to separate the prey so they can devour them. And so the devil tries to separate you from your people, from your family, from your spouse, from your kids, from your church, from your coworkers. He tries to get you away from them so that he can fill your ear with a bunch of lies. Oh, did you see what they did? Oh, they don't appreciate you. And any little opportunity, he's waiting. Oh, did you see? They always expect you to do all the work. Oh, did you see? There's a picture of them on social media with their other friends. I bet they lied about where they were last week when they said they were sick so they could hang out with them instead. Oh, that person's always coming late. It's because they expect you to do all the work. They don't think they have to do any work. Whatever little lie, whatever hot spot and button that you have, he's looking for it. And then as soon as he sees it, he starts filling your ear with these lies to get you away from your people so he can devour you, because when we're divided, we are devoured. But if you know, united we stand, divided we fall. We Americans know this. I think that was Abraham Lincoln, but I'm not sure. United we stand, divided we fall. That means in your marriage, united you stand, divided you fall. In your family, united you stand, divided you fall. In your church, united you stand, divided you fall. In your workplace, united you stand, divided you fall. Wherever you are, if you are united to other people, they will lift you. They will help you. They have your back. But if the enemy can see a way to get you away from them, then he can start filling your ear with all these lies about what jerks they are and how much they don't appreciate you. And whatever he can use to get in there and get you divided so that he can devour you like a hungry lion. And when he devours you, and when he devours your relationship, he then looks at God and says, ha ha, look what I did down here. You sent me down here? Ha! Look what I can do down here. But we have to stand up against that. I love this one in Revelation. This is the end times. So Revelation is supposed to be kind of like what happens in the very end. He says, I heard a loud voice in heaven said, now have come the salvation and the power of the kingdom of our God, the authority of the Messiah. For the accuser of our brothers and sisters has accused them before God and has been hurled down. God's like, I'm not standing for this. Get out. And at the end, when we go, I call it super heaven, the enemy won't be able to be there accusing us. God doesn't want us to be accused. He wants us to be together. He wants us to have a close community. But Paul reminds us in his letter to the Romans, keep your eyes sharp. Take those bits and pieces of the teaching you've learned and use them. He says there's people who will take these bits and pieces and they use them to cause trouble. They give those people wide berth. They have no intention of living for our Master Christ. They are only in it for what they can get out of it. They aren't above using pious, sweet talk to dupe unsuspecting innocents. There are people who, like my 7th graders, just love to sit back and cause trouble. You've got to watch your relationships. Do you have someone in your life who's a divider? I'll give you a story. I'll change her name. I have a friend, we'll call her Mindy. And Mindy's the youngest of 3. She has 2 older brothers, and her older brothers were best friends. All growing up, they roomed together in college. They were best friends out of college. They were like a year apart, and they were super tight. And then middle brother got married first, and his wife is one of those people. One of these people who likes to put the wedge in between her family. And when older brother got married, he asked younger brother, middle brother, to be his best man because they were best friends. And so, of course, like he was in the program, the wedding program, you know, like the little thing you get. And of course he was in it because he's in the wedding. And the younger sister, she had a part and she was a bridesmaid. So of course she was in it because she's in the wedding. Well, the wife, middle brother's wife, was not in the program because she wasn't in the wedding. She didn't have a role. And she was like, they didn't put me in the program. See, I told you, they don't love me and they don't love you. They don't respect me, and I can't be part of a family that doesn't respect me. And she had been laying this kind of groundwork for a while. The week before older brother's wedding, middle brother says, we're not coming to the wedding. You don't respect my wife. And he ditched his brother on his wedding day because his wife got her hooks in there. The enemy used her to drive a wedge into those brothers' relationship. And to this day, it's strained. To this day, the whole family relationship is strained because she uses every chance she can get to drive a wedge into that family. She takes every opportunity to devour them, to cause trouble. So my question, think about your close relationships. Do you have a person like that? Do you have a person, if you can take a step back from your relationships, do you have a person who's always in there saying, I can't believe they did that. Do you know why? It's because they don't love you. Do you see the way they get preferential treatment in the workplace? It's because the boss loves them best and they don't even do all the work. Do you have somebody who is using their voice, they're partnering with the enemy to divide and devour you? And remember the Titans, the town continually was trying to continually divide and devour this team. And these boys had to be like, we're not listening to that. We're not going to do that. We're going to stand up together and fight against this together. And then here's the other thing we've got to watch out for. It says, but avoid foolish controversies, genealogies, discussions, and quarrels about the law, for they are unprofitable and worthless. And as for the person who stirs up division, after warning him once and then twice, so give him a couple chances, have nothing more to do with them, knowing that such a person is warped and sinful and is self-condemned. There are certain topics we've got to learn to just avoid. Like if you have someone in your family who loves to talk about politics and you don't agree with their politics, and every time you talk about politics, it becomes this like battle that's destroying your relationships, then just don't talk about politics with them. If you've got a person who every time you get together, they want to talk about, oh, that person who, you sit down to lunch, and the first thing you do when they sit down, well, did you see that Susie came in late today? And she's leaving early, and she doesn't ever get in trouble, and they're on, I've had times as a teacher, people like this, they just want to start conflict and drama all the time. Like I've had seasons where I don't eat lunch in the teacher's lounge because I just can't. I don't want to spend my entire 22 minutes that I actually get to be in the room. I don't want to spend my 22 minutes listening to all that drama and bleh. And so I go find somewhere else to eat, somewhere peaceful. So if there's a topic or a person in your life that is causing division, if you've got like my friend Mindy's sister-in-law, if you've got a sister-in-law person in your life who is driving a wedge into your family, you might have to take a step back from that person. I hate to say this, but mother-in-laws do this a lot. Mother-in-laws like to get in and be like, I can't believe that they're letting you do that. You shouldn't do that. And I'm not saying you need to not have a relationship with your mother-in-law, but you might need to set some boundaries. I don't want to hear about the shortcomings of my husband anymore. Stop it. I don't want to hear about the shortcomings of Susie, how she's always late to the office. I happen to like Susie, she's my friend, and I would love to talk about something else. Maybe you need to change where you eat lunch. I don't know. You got to figure out what is dividing your relationships. What wedge is being driven into your relationship, any of your relationships that are strained. What wedge? Get to the root of it. How can you get it out? How can you eliminate that which is dividing your relationships? And then submit yourself to God. You know how you resist the enemy? Because he's a jerk and he is relentless. The closer you stay to God, the more sheltered you are. The more you're talking to God, the more he will talk to you about that relationship. He says, come near God and he will come near you. Wash your hands. You know what wash your hands means? You need to own up to what part you've played. Like when I get mad at someone, I'm like, I can't believe they did it, and they did this, and they did this, and they did this, and then God's like, and let's talk about what you did. I'm like, oh, I want to talk about what I did. I didn't do anything, God, I'm perfect. He's like, are you? We've got to come to God and be like, God, this relationship is broken, and I'm mad about it, and I'm upset about it. Show me what I'm doing to make this relationship broken. Show me what I am doing to allow the enemy to divide and devour. Purify my heart. Clean my heart in this relationship. Start with me first. What's that, Michael Jackson? I'm going to start with the man in the mirror. Remember that song? Anyone? Start with the man in the mirror. Come close to God. You know, we're like sheep, and we have a shepherd. What happens to a sheep that wanders away from the shepherd? It gets devoured. So if you want to be safe, stay close to your shepherd, because he will lead you. He might lead you in a place you don't want to go. You're like, I don't want to talk about that. He's like, we gotta. And so your challenge this week is to take a couple steps back from your relationships, get your emotions, take your emotions and put them over there, and say, Lord, show me which of my relationships are being divided and devoured. Show me what is dividing me. Show me what that wedge is. And if it's something in my heart, help me see it so I can say I'm sorry and I can let go of it. Help me to stop doing the thing I'm doing to cause the wedge. And all of God's people said, amen. If you